The lights of the banquet hall shimmered like stars, scattered across a velvet sky, but none of that brightness touched me. At 16, I should have felt excited to be at such a grand family party, music swelling, relatives laughing, the air filled with the smell of roasted food and expensive perfumes. But I walked 2 steps behind my mother, Shabnam, feeling like a shadow she wished would disappear. She hadn't looked at me properly in weeks. Tonight was no different. "Fix your collar, Ayan," she hissed without turning. "Don't embarrass me." Her voice cut sharper than any knife. I straightened it silently, pretending it didn't hurt. Our relatives greeted her with fake warmth, offering polite smiles that didn't reach their eyes, and my mother. She laughed loudly, praised people she despised, and behaved like she wasn't responsible for a son standing alone in a crowd. I drifted around the hall, letting the noise fade into the background. Everywhere I turned, whispers followed about debts, business losses, family disputes. But one conversation froze me completely. My maternal uncle stood by the staircase, speaking on the phone, his voice low but urgent. "No, nothing has transferred yet," he said. "But once the boy is out of the way, she'll handle the rest. The boy." My stomach twisted. I took a slow step backward, heart pounding like it wanted to escape my ribs. Was he talking about me, or was I overthinking? Before I could catch more, he ended the call and walked back into the crowd. The hall suddenly felt too small, too loud, too dangerous. I slipped outside into the cool night air, trying to breathe. The parking area was dim, lit only by a few flickering lights. I walked toward the exit gate, needing space to clear my head. That's when I heard the horn. I turned instinctively, too late. A blinding flash, a roar, metal slamming into bone. The world spun violently, then vanished into blackness. When I woke, everything smelled like antiseptic and fear. My body felt heavy, my legs burning with agony. Doctors stood nearby, voices sharp with urgency. "His fractures are severe. We need to operate immediately." "And if we don't?" Another voice asked. "He may never walk again." My heart stopped when I heard the next voice, my mother's. "No surgery." The doctor blinked. "Ma'am, his condition." I said no. Her tone was cold, final. "I can't afford this." I stared at her, betrayed, broken, unable to speak. Then the doctor whispered to a nurse, unaware I could hear. "If the guardian refuses, we'll assign a new guardian." In that moment, everything in my world shattered. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the hospital blinds, but it did nothing to warm the coldness spreading through my chest. I lay still, replaying my mother's voice over and over again. No surgery. Those 2 words felt heavier than the accident itself. A nurse entered quietly, thinking I was asleep. The new guardian should arrive today. She whispered to another nurse. "He's lucky someone stepped forward. Otherwise," I didn't hear the rest. New guardian. Who? Why? Before I could gather my thoughts, the door burst open with a force that made both nurses jump. A woman strode in, tall, confident, eyes blazing like she carried a storm inside her. "Ayant," she breathed, her voice cracking as she rushed to my bedside. It took my foggy brain a moment to recognize her. Aunt Zara. She cupped my face gently, her expression a mix of rage and heartbreak. "Look at you, my poor boy." What are you doing here?" I whispered, her jaw clenched. "When I heard what your mother did, I took the first flight back. How dare she refuse your surgery? How dare she leave you like this?" My throat tightened. Just hearing someone be angry for me felt strange, comforting, in a way I hadn't felt in years. "I didn't think you'd come," I said softly. Zara looked at me with eyes full of guilt. "I should have never stayed away, not this long, but I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere." Her voice was fierce, strong in the places mine was breaking. Within minutes, she signed the medical documents with trembling hands. "Prepare him for surgery," she ordered firmly. "He gets everything he needs." The doctors, relieved, rushed into action. The last thing I saw before the anesthesia pulled me under was Zara's hand gripping mine. When I woke, groggy and aching, Zara was still sitting beside me, not sleeping, not distracted, just watching over me like a shield. "The surgery was successful," she said, brushing my hair gently, "but recovery will take time." "Why did she refuse, Zara?" My voice cracked. Why did my own mother leave me? Zara hesitated, her eyes holding something dark, heavy. Because she's been drowning in problems she created. Debts, lies, greed, and you were becoming an obstacle. I swallowed hard. The truth felt like glass cutting through my chest. She wanted full control of your inheritance. Zara continued. She even tried sending you abroad to get rid of responsibility. And there are things worse than that. Worse. My heart pounded. Do you mean the accident? Zara held my hand tighter. I don't know everything yet, but I promise you this: whatever happened, whatever she planned, we will uncover it together. I felt a single tear slide down my cheek. For the first time in my life, I wasn't alone. Recovery was supposed to be slow, steady, and predictable. At least that's what the doctors said. But nothing about my life felt predictable anymore. Every day in the hospital felt like peeling back a painful layer of truth I never asked to see. Zara visited me morning and night. Sometimes she brought food, sometimes books, and sometimes silence. But she never brought lies. With her, everything was real, even the pain. 3 weeks into recovery, when I finally stood with the help of crutches, a new determination settled inside me. My legs trembled, but my mind had never felt sharper. I want to know everything. I told Zara one afternoon as she helped me practice my steps. She exhaled slowly, as if she had been waiting for me to ask. All right, but once you learn the truth, you won't be the same boy. I'm not that boy anymore, she nodded. Then the unraveling began. My mother's debts weren't small mistakes. They were deliberate fraud, fake signatures, illegal loans, hidden accounts, and every document pointed to one thing. She was desperate for full control of my inheritance. She needed you out of the way, Zara said quietly. You turning 16 made things complicated for her. You had rights now, rights she couldn't manipulate. My stomach churned. So she tried sending me away, and when that didn't work, Zara continued, she tried something worse. I froze. My voice felt stuck in my throat. The accident? Zara didn't confirm it directly, but her silence was enough. I stared at the floor, my crutches shaking. Tears blurred my vision, not weak tears, but the kind that burn with betrayal. I spent hours replaying everything in my head, the cold tone, the refusal, the way she walked out, but after the heartbreak came clarity. I wasn't angry. I didn't want to scream. I didn't want revenge dipped in fire. I wanted something colder, quieter, sharper, a revenge made of truth. Over the next weeks, I started collecting evidence. Zara helped, but she let me lead. Hospital staff shared records. Nurses whispered what they witnessed. CCTV footage was printed frame by frame. I watched the clip of my mother refusing my surgery, her arms crossed, her expression bored, like my life was an inconvenience. Something inside me broke, and something stronger grew in its place. I'm going to expose all of them. I told Zara one night. She placed a hand on my shoulder. Revenge isn't about hurting them, Ayan. It's about freeing yourself. I know, I replied. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. The plan formed quietly, like a storm gathering without thunder. I would heal. I would rise. And when I returned, I would return with truth sharp enough to shatter them all. A year had passed since the accident, but the memory of that night still lived in my bones. Not as pain anymore, pain had burned itself out months ago, but as a reminder of everything I survived. I was no longer the frightened 16-year old boy begging for a chance to walk again. I was different, stronger, sharper, focused, and tonight I was ready. Zara helped me adjust the collar of my black shirt. Are you sure you're prepared for this? She asked softly. I smiled, a calm, controlled smile. I've been preparing for a year. The family had arranged another celebration, similar to the one where everything fell apart. Fate had aligned itself perfectly, handing me the same stage where my life had shattered. But this time, I wasn't standing alone. As I entered the hall, conversations froze. Every pair of eyes turned toward me. Walking confidently, spine straight, gaze steady. Rumors had spread that I would never walk properly again, and now I watched their surprise in silence. My mother was near the buffet table, laughing too loudly, pretending the past didn't exist. When she saw me, the color drained from her face. Her lips trembled, but I looked right through her, as if she were a stranger. I walked to the stage without saying a word. "Thank you for being here," I began, my voice echoing clearly. "I want to share something important." A few relatives shifted uncomfortably. They knew me. I never spoke in gatherings. I pressed a button on the small remote in my hand. The speakers crackled, and then her voice filled the hall. "No surgery. Let him be." Gasps erupted. My mother stumbled backward. I watched her face twist into shock, fear, and guilt. I was 16. I continued in the hospital, broken, bleeding, and this is what my mother decided for me. Whispers spread like wildfire. Zara stood behind me, a silent pillar of strength. I changed the slide. The next recording showed my uncle discussing getting the boy out of the way. Then came forged documents, signatures, fake loan statements, and medical reports showing who refused treatment. Every truth I had carried in silence now stood naked before them. My mother rushed forward, her voice cracking. "These are lies. He's manipulating." Zara stepped in front of me, her voice calm. "I am his legal guardian. Every document shown is real. Every word is verified." My mother fell to her knees crying, begging the crowd to believe her. No one did. They only watched as the facade she held for years crumbled into dust. I looked down at her, not with anger, not with hate, but with a peace she would never understand. "You broke me at 16, I said gently. "I rebuilt myself at 17. Then I walked away, leaving her with the truth she tried so hard to bury. Zara walked beside me, her hand on my back. "You're free, Ion," she whispered, and finally I believed her.